Donald Trump is approaching the cameras.
Are you worried about going to jail?
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now, from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for a convicted felon?
And there you have it. Donald Trump calling this a rigged trial. We're hearing from sources close to him they do plan to appeal. The sentencing, we have learned, is going to be on July 11th at 10 a.m., where the judge has discretion. Each of these counts, my understanding, can carry as much as 4 years of jail time, as well as thousands of dollars in fine. Just want to quickly fact check something that the former president said. Scott McFarland is with us. Donald Trump has repeated that this was launched by the Biden administration, but we should just clarify that so that people don't think this is something that Joe Biden initiated.
This is a grand jury. And this is a jury of his peers who did the work in this prosecution adjudication. But it's not just Donald Trump, Nora. It's his allies. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, has just released a statement saying Democrats cheered as they convicted the leader of the opposing party. Elise Stefanik, who chairs the House Republican Conference, said this is a Biden administration prosecution. Not only is this not federal, this is a local prosecution, but this is not a Democratic Party process. But that date really jumps out at me, Nora. July 11th for sentencing. That's 4 days before the Republican National Convention.
Wow.
Opens in Milwaukee, swing state. And to Scott's point, and we should not overlook this, Nora, the politics of this will rage from this moment forward. And those who support former President Trump will regard this as a New York matter and a Democratic matter, not an American matter. They will be offended by this, and they will, to the former president's point, try to rally their supporters and other like-minded Republicans and others on November 5th. Mm-hmm. The former president has a very serious legal problem. He is trying to remedy it through politics.
I want to bring in Robert Costa, who is there outside the courthouse. And Robert, you could hear how angry Donald Trump was in those comments. What are you learning?
Nora, just seconds ago, got off the phone with someone very close to former President Trump, said he was expressing his anger, his fury about this verdict. Even before it was read, he was predicting to associates that he believed that this trial was a disaster and that he was going to fight it all the way through appeal. He was already signaling to some of the top Republicans in the country in the past hour that regardless of what happened, he wanted them to be with him. He believed they would stand with him. And he is really preparing his allies, tell me just now, to fight this all the way and to use this as a political weapon against President Biden. The Justice Department not involved in this case. This is a case in Lower Manhattan. This was a jury comprised of 12 New Yorkers, people who are his peers in his home city of New York. At the same time, you're going to hear former President Trump constantly use this as a refrain that he was targeted by this trial, targeted by this prosecutor, and he is going to use his own channels of communication, whether it's social media, some kind of rally or speeches or other means to get his message out there without fact-checking and often without the bounds of normal discourse holding him in. But this is American politics today. He has helped to create and really spearheaded this environment we are in now. But I know from people who have been with him in the past hour that he is furious and that this is not just something he's going to leave to the lawyers. He wants to be out front now, and this country is going to see him out front all summer.
Want to bring back in former Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance and give you the opportunity, sir, to respond to those charges that this case was a disgrace and that was rigged and brought by the Biden administration.
Well, certainly the origins of this case, which was when I was district attorney, had nothing to do with the Biden administration. And I don't think anything changed with regard to DA Bragg taking over and developing his separate case out of where the case began with us. I think what you're going to your panelists have got it completely right. This is now going to go into the streets. It's going to be a matter of politics. I think the president will take this to the Supreme Court, where I think he hopes that it will finally receive the kind of audience he wishes he had in a jury, and that's going to be taking some time. But it's a great day for the DA's office in Manhattan. I'm proud of their work. I'm proud to be associated with the office. And I think this is a controversial case, but tough cases are controversial. And they did a fabulous job under a lot of pressure and under very bright lights in the public.
And Cy, explain that. How does a state case make its way up to the Supreme Court?
Well, the Supreme Court has issued rulings in many state cases. It will go through the state appeals process, and then after the Court of Appeals, assuming the courts of appeal in New York do not overturn the verdict, and former President Trump will take his best shot at each level and take his best hard shots, then they will appeal to the Supreme Court to accept certiorari, which is a fancy word meaning the Supreme Court agrees to hear the case. And that's the straight path, either through the state system or the federal system, where a defendant has the opportunity to at least ask the highest court in the land to consider reviewing the case.
Cy Vance, thank you.